Hey, what's up everyone, this is Sean and welcome to the Magic and Thrills. Hey everyone, what's up, this is Sean and welcome to another video here on the Magic and Thrills. Now in today's video, I wanted to really kind of give my immediate feedback, feelings, emotions, all that fun stuff, whatever you want to call it, on Epic Universe, on the previews. Now that all the media and like Orlando vloggers, if you will, have kind of been given access to film things, and I've watched the majority of them on because they'll kind of become the same thing after a while. But I just want to share my feelings on it. I will possibly source some of their video footage. So again, I'm not a Florida resident, I'm not an Orlando local, so everything that I show in this video, if I choose to put that in there, will be from these vloggers, just as far as videos and photos go. So I'll put their links to their channels below if I decide to put them in the video as well. Otherwise, those be me giving my feelings on it initially. Now, before I get into this too, is I will be visiting Orlando in early June, actually the first week of my kid's summer vacation. I'm taking him on a trip there to experience them, because he loves Mario and all the things Mario and that kind of thing, and I enjoy Harry Potter, I enjoy all the areas, and I'm a huge Halloween Horror Nights fan myself, as well as loving the idea of what Dark Universe is. So it's really for both of us for this trip. So if you guys are in Orlando or you're visiting Orlando in the first week of June, I will be there as well. If you see me in the parks, definitely say hi as well, because I'd love to meet everyone that watches these videos as well. Never had that opportunity, being not from Florida, so anymore, not living in Florida, I should say. But so here's my thoughts on everything. Now, from the videos I've seen of Dark Universe, again, so for the record, I have not watched any pre-ride footage of anything. There's a lot of pre-show stuff that's been filmed, because you cannot film, or I should say you're supposed to not film on any of these Universal rides, just because they want to keep it, somewhat exclusive as far as that goes. There has been some leaked footage already on YouTube, which is pretty sad that we have to get to that point already. It's not even open for another month yet, but it is what it is. So my feelings initially on Dark Universe is that it is very, very much a family version of what Halloween Horror Nights is, because all the videos I've seen on Dark Universe from the walkthroughs is that it's actually it seems to be like it's a very small land, actually, from what I've seen on the videos. It is very well themed. The aesthetic of it is very, very rad, from as far as just the attention to detail on what Universal is deciding to put into their park, or into that type of park, because again, not really any type of darker themed lands really exist at any U.S. theme parks right now. I mean, it is really based off of, to its core, the Universal Monsters experience, because again, Universal Pictures, they really invented the, I don't say the horror industry, but they kind of invented the monster industry of films with like Frankenstein and all that, the whole massive genre. Not to mention the fact that Universal really is kind of, they really do, every year with Halloween Horror Nights, they do bring in some different influences or different ideas of their own monster stories, and they kind of every year bring another version of it or another take on it, if you will, and it's usually done very, very well. It all depends on how into it you are and your aspect of viewing on it as well. But again, from the very first videos I've seen of Dark Universe, again, it's a very small land, but there's a lot of detail everywhere. It's not a gory land at all, which I didn't know how they would handle that, as far as if they were going to have a little bit of Halloween Horror Nights in there, because again, Halloween HHN is a very, it's a very adult, very gory event overall. It's meant to be. That's why people love it, including myself. But Dark Universe is not that. It still has an adult theme to it. It still has some scary elements to it, especially all the outside things that you can view, as far as like caskets and like bodies hanging from the trees that I've seen in some videos and things like that, and skeletons being around, but not really anything super, super overly intense. So I think I think it's a very well done, so far from what I've seen, land done by Universal creative team on that part. So kudos to them. Now I have seen the indoor portions of the restaurants and the quick service food. No one's really reviewed their food yet. As far as I'm aware, maybe they have, and I just haven't seen those videos yet. But even the food that I've seen the menus for, which is still outside of the actual places to eat in Dark Universe, is very, again, dark themed. The names of it, the look of it, all the photos of it I've seen online have been very dark themed to that universe as well, or to that land. So I appreciate that as well. And the rides seem to be, again, keeping up with the hype as far as what they were what they've been given for since the beginning of preview started for team members. So all the hype still seems to be there as far as as far as Monsters and Chains, and the other ride as well for the kids of the less intense ride that's outside. So again, for Dark Universe, it seems to be everything we thought it would be. Again, it's not in any way gory. Everything is kind of like clean horror in a way, if you even want to call it horror. It's more of a dark land that is, for the family. So I love that they did that. I was very, very curious on how Universal would handle that part of it, as far as just if they would have it be a little bit more on the intensive side, but they definitely haven't done that from what I've seen online. So it's a very well done thing. Again, that's my most anticipated land for just overall for Epic Universe as well. Now, the videos that I've seen from Super Mario Land, from that area, is that it's not really any different from the Universal Hollywood version of the same theme park at all. And that's not a bad thing, because it's very themed, it's very, very well done. So all the videos that I've seen for the Super Mario Land have been very, same theme. I think it literally is just a copycat of the land itself. There's a different ride. I think it's the Donkey Kong ride, I believe it is. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I think it's the Donkey Kong ride. That is what we have additional in the Orlando version compared to the Hollywood version. But as far as coloration, aesthetic, theming, rides, besides that one ride, all of them are really the same thing as what there is in Hollywood. But again, it is a really cool thing that they are now bringing it to Orlando in its own version as well. So I love that very, very much. That is what my son's looking forward to the most, because he loves Mario, all things for that. So we're going to probably maybe spending the majority of the day in the Super Mario Land, which is totally fine. There's plenty of stuff to do there for him, so I love that. So that's kind of, again, I'm not going to dive too much into that one as far as videos and sources here, because it is the same thing. It's not something that's ever been not seen before yet to this point of what's in Orlando. So kind of same kind of thing, vibe there. Now, the How to Train Your Dragon Land, the Isle of Berk, fun story behind this one for me is that I personally never somehow saw the movies at all. I know, until literally like last night, no joke, last night I actually watched all of them from beginning to end, because I had no idea what I was going into, and I knew that I can see why now after watching all the movies, why they're making a land based off of the films, because they are really, really cool. They are very good movies. They are very, very well done. So it's cool that they have a DreamWorks based land like this for How to Train Your Dragon. I think when I've seen in the videos of them, the land really, really matches the movies, and it's hard to do that really in a way. I feel like it's very hard to do, to take a recently animated trilogy, if you will, and put it into a land and make it look like it's supposed to be there in a way, if that makes sense, where it's like it doesn't look like it's Super Mario's kind of the same way in a way, where it's very like it's what you would visualize it to be in real life. But How to Train Your Dragon is the same kind of thing, where I feel like it looks very lived in, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. It looks like they did take their time with, because I feel like the land or the world, if you will, of How to Train Your Dragon is such a big world from what they kind of experience and what they show you in those movies. So they had to be Universal had to be very creative and intentional, I would say, with what they wanted to choose from of what to display. Because right when you walk in to the Isle of Berk, to that land, they have the big rock with the engraving on what the world really is trying to encompass, in a sense. And then as soon as you pass that, it is really just it opens up immediately to pretty much the beginning of Isle of Berk, the film, the second one, because as soon as you walk in, from all the videos I've seen, it's got that really intentional, like, bam, wide open space, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where do you even start? And from everyone who I've seen that has experienced that land firsthand in person, says that it is really to a T, so to speak, on what the movies would seem to be like in person, and that cannot be an easy thing to bring from an animated film to a live in-person experience. And also, it's from everyone I've seen on YouTube, that it seems like that is the most kind of surprising land so far, where people were not expecting the rides to be as well done as they are, as far as the coasters go, and because again, it's got more of the kid-friendly rides, but they're still intense enough to be where adults can enjoy them. Because that's a big thing about Universal Orlando, or I should say, my bad, Islands of Adventure, is that some of the Harry Potter rides are more for the kids side. They're not as thrilling. I mean, they definitely have thrilling rides, but not as much as you would think. But it definitely seems like the consensus right now, before the general public gets into all this, is that the How to Train Your Dragon Land is a much more middle ground, where you have the rides that are made for kids, but adults can still enjoy them for themselves too. It's the same kind of thing. So again, it's the biggest surprise land that I've heard so far, where everyone's kind of shocked by how well it's done, how well done it was created, as far as the aesthetic version and the visualization of it as well. And apparently, again, it's just the biggest surprise land that people did not expect a ton from, but it really kind of has been shown up in a really rad way. So very cool for that. And now, last but not least, is the Harry Potter, both the Ministry of Magic side and the Paris side, because again, they are two different lands, but they're blended in together to be one thing, essentially, as far as like the show, which has never been done before, as far as like the very first show of anything of that size for Harry Potter as well. I've seen plenty of videos as far as the actual queue, if you will, and I believe as of just yesterday, or as of like the last few days, the ride itself, so the Ministry of Magic Escape of the Ministry for Dolores Umbridge, that in the last few days, it's been the first time that people have been allowed to ride the ride. Like, it's actually open to ride now. And again, you can't film on it, so I don't know what it looks like, and that's a good thing. I don't want to until I actually see it for myself. But the queue itself, for one thing, is huge. So that is interesting, because I feel like that means if the queue is a huge thing, just visually, it also means that Universal is really expecting the lines to be long. And I'll put it that way, because I've seen from people walking through the queue, like, obviously it's a visual phenom, you know what I mean, as far as like just how epic it is, how big it is, how colorful it is, how real it is, because it really is the movie, because again from the books to the movies to now the parks, nothing really skipped a beat on that aspect of it, and I love that. Like, there was no cut down of creativity, there was no sparing of expense, so to speak, on it at all. So I think that Universal Creative did a very good job of taking those, again, it never got watered down, so to speak, from the experience from the book to the movies to the land. So I think that's very important. And from everything I've heard from the ride itself, is that it's a very much well worth the wait ride, but they are worried and concerned that once you add in, you know, whatever the capacity is for Universal, for Epic Universe is going to be, once you add that capacity in there where it's like running all day, every day, like, hopefully there is no breakdown, so to speak, of it happening anytime soon. So that'll be the big thing, is how well can this ride adapt to the demands of people visiting. Because right now, again, it's only, I think, VIP tours, media previews for the most part, and team members previews keep getting extended. So it's not really, hasn't really been tested beyond that with like full on experience of of general public yet. So we'll see. But again, the actual queue for that, just for the Ministry ride, is huge. It's beautiful. It's insane. Just the Floo Network entrance is, in my opinion, very well done from what I've seen on the video so far. It's like, because I didn't really know how they're gonna pull that off without it being somewhat cheesy, but they do a very good job in the videos I've seen, where you just flat out walk through it. And I didn't know if there'd be like some kind of like shakiness to it, or kind of weird, like kind of like almost like Severance effect, if you will, from like how they show their faces and the camera work on that. But you just walk through it. But the lighting, the fog in it, and just the experience I've heard of walking through that area feels very well done and very authentic, so that's good too. But even just like the opening up from where you walk through the entrance into the big Ministry of Magic entrance is, again, very well done. So very cool on that part. And the Paris side too, from all the videos I've seen so far, are very, again, it's the highest, from what Universal Creative has said so far in the videos, that it is the highest land that's not a ride that they've ever made, as far as the top of the buildings and all that stuff go. And you can tell when people are walking in person on foot how big it is, and how, you know, just creative they had to be to make it look that way. And not only that, I think a big thing too is that these lands are kind of, again, they're not that separate as far as like space goes. So I was very curious, and I mentioned this in another video, I was very curious on how Universal was going to separate these lands out to not have a noise bleed into other lands. Kind of like when you're like in a theater for movies, and you can hear the other movie playing when it's quiet in a scene in your movie. Like, I was very curious on if how they're gonna counteract the smells, the noises, all that stuff from between these lands, and it seems like they've done that very well by building up these lands to be very, very tall and very much on their own in a sense, which is cool too. So again, it seems like they've done everything very well done. And again, the other thing I want to mention about the Paris part of Harry Potter is that all the small details for Paris, like when you go and look into a window and see like whether it's a book or a because all the photos move and all that kind of stuff. It just seems like it's so intricately done that had to take some serious effort and serious time. And once again, I just want to give major kudos and credit to the Universal creative team for taking the time to do it very well. And now again, whether or not that stays that way throughout the general public being into it and having it last for the longevity of it, hopefully that will stay the same as far as that goes. So we'll see. Only time will tell for that one. But again, these are just my general first impression thoughts of people being able to film in these lands and not just seeing photos and all that stuff. So again, I may throw in some videos here of some vloggers that have done it from what I've seen, just give you guys some perspective as well. Although they're everywhere now, so you should be able to easily find them for yourself as well. But again, that's my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below if you have plans for Epic Universe, on what you're most excited for, thoughts, opinions, likes, dislikes, all of that stuff below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything. Thanks for watching again, as always, and I'll see you all in the next video.